Good day everyone. Today I will explain about the biodiversity and a healthy society. So let's proceed to lesson objective. The first one is describe biodiversity, understanding its components and significance. Second is identify threats, cite factors destroying biodiversity. Next is COVID-19 impact, explain its effects on Philippine biodiversity, and the last one objective is impact on society, discuss how biodiversity affects health. So here we are to our introduction to biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to all the different living things on Earth, which are the plants, animals, and microorganisms. It includes the ecosystem where they live. We depend on biodiversity for food, shelter, medicine, and clean air. However, many of these life forms are being harmed or destroyed because of human activities. This is why we must act to protect and preserve our environment. Next is the enrichment of life. Biodiversity refers to the enrichment of variety of life forms on Earth. It includes all the species of living organisms, whether bacteria, plants, animals, and humans, that can be found in one distinct animals on Earth. Surprisingly, only about 12 million species have been identified and classified area. To date, it has been recorded that there are approximately 8.7 million species of plants and properly. Insects have been great number of organisms that have been identified. Because of this, millions of species or organisms are waiting to be explored and named accordingly. So let's proceed to the evolution and hotspot. Evolution allows organisms to develop unique traits for survival, making them distinct species that can be reproduced together belong to the same species. When we say evolution is that it is a process, it describes how species change over time to adapt and survive in their environment. It explains why living things today look different from those million years ago. Evolution creates a new threats and sometimes even new species. It happens slowly over a long period. For example, giraffes evolve long necks so that they can reach tall trees for food. The next one is the biodiversity hotspot. So it is a place. It is a geographic region with very high numbers of unique or endangered species. This area have plants and animals found nowhere else in the world. Hotspots are usually understand traits from human activities like deforestation or pollution. Protecting hotspot helps protecting the big portion of Earth biodiversity. So, for example, the Philippines is a biodiversity hotspot because it has many species found only in the country like the Philippine eagle. Okay, the next one is ongoing research. Ongoing research means that scientists are still studying and discovering new things about biodiversity. Even today, there are many species on Earth that we still don't know about. Because of this, researchers continue to explore, identify, and understand different living organisms. So scientists do ongoing research too. First one is discovering new species, many plants, animals, insects, and organisms have not yet been named or studied. Example, every year biologists find a new insect deep sea creature or plant species. Next one is to classify and describe species. After discovering species, scientists study its appearance, behavior, and how it survive. This helps us understand how species are related to each other. Next one is study how species benefits human. Researchers also explore how plants and animals can be used for medicine, food, or technology. For example, some rainforest plants are being studied as possible cures for diseases like cancer. So, next is monitor threats to biodiversity. Scientists observe how pollution, climate change, and deforestation affect different species. This helps create plans to protect them. Next is the understand ecosystem better. Researchers study how organisms interact with an ecosystem, who eats, who or where they live, and how they support each other. So those steps are the things that the researcher must do, or they shall do. So let's proceed to the next. So let's proceed to ecosystem biodiversity. Scientists study diversity within ecosystem, characterizing terrestrial like forests, tundra, grassland, and in aquatic, river, ocean, swamp, lake, and sea habitats. Each component play a vital role. So the first one is producer. So when we say producer are living things that make their own food using sunlight, water, and air. They are the base of every food chain because they provide energy for other organisms. So, for example, is the plants, algae, and some bacteria. Next one is consumer. When we say consumers are organisms that cannot make their own food, so they must eat plants, animals, or both they get energy. So example is the first one is herbivores. They eat plants. Example is the cow and rabbits. Next one is the carnivores. They eat animals. Example is the lions and snake. The third one is the omnivores, which they eat both plants and animals. Example of this is human and bears. So the last one is the decomposers. Decomposers are organisms that break down dead plants, dead animals, and waste materials rather. They return nutrients to the soil, helping new plants grow. Without decomposer, the world would be filled with waste and dead matter. So for example is the fungi, bacteria, and earthworms. Let's proceed to traits to biodiversity. Humans' activities endangered diversity environmental components, leading to skating extinction rates. Scientists estimate half of Earth's species could be wiped out within a century. So unfortunately, biodiversity is in danger because of human action. So the major threats including the first one is the deforestation. Next is the pollution, third is the soil erosion, and fourth is the climate change. So let's first explain the deforestation. When we say deforestation, it is the large-scale cutting down of trees and forests. When forests disappear, animals lost their homes, the air becomes dirtier, and the land becomes weaker. So For example, is cutting trees to build houses or malls, cleaning forests for farming and mining, and then third example is logging trees to make furnitures or paper. So this example is commonly experienced, or these examples is very relevant today. So the next one is pollution. When we say pollution, happens when harmful substances like chemicals, smokes, or trash even in the air, water, or soil. It damages the environment and can harm humans and animals. So example of pollution is the factories releasing smoke into the air, plastic thrown into oceans and rivers, vehicle producing harmful fumes, and chemical waste linking in the soil. So the third is the soil erosion. Soil erosion is the wearing away of the top layer of soil because of wind, water, or human activities. When soil is lost, plants cannot grow well and farms become less productive. So example is this is farming the same land repeated until the soil become weak. So even even the soil is like weak na siya. So ginagamit gihapon siya, diba? Next is heavy rains washing away soil on bare hills side. Next is the removing threads that hold soil together causing landslide. So the last one is the climate change. Climate change refers to long-term changing in temperature and weather patterns, mainly caused by human activities like burning fossil fuels and cutting trees. It leads to stronger typhoons, hotter days, and unpredictable weather. Example of this is more intense typhoon and floods, extreme heat during summer, melting ice in the polar region, and then droughts affecting crops and water supply. Okay, so let's proceed to biodiversity and human health. Biodiversity is directly connected to human health. Healthy ecosystems support healthy people. So the first one is food security. When we say food security, having enough safe and healthy food for everyone at all times. Biodiversity help this because different plants and animals provide a variety of food sources. For example, if one type of crop fails like rice, we can still rely on other crops like corn, vegetables, or root crops. The next one is medical research. Medical research uses plants and animals and also microorganisms to develop new medicines and treats. Biodiversity provides scientists with many natural sources to study. For example, a medicine for pain like aspirin was developed from the bark of the willow tree. So next is the traditional medicine. Traditional medicine uses natural resources like herbs, plants, and animals, part of the healing, based on the cultural practices and knowledge based passed rather down over generation. For example, ginger tea is used in many cultures to relieve cough, sore throat, and stomach pain. So the next one is disease prevention. Healthy ecosystem help prevent disease from spreading. When natural is balanced, harmful viruses and pests are controlled naturally. For example, forests help keep disease-carrying mosquito away from communities by maintaining natural predators like birds and frogs. The next one is cultural. Oh, I forgot to Next, my slide. Next one is cultural enrichment. Biodiversity enriches culture by inspiring tradition, beliefs, arts, and communities' activities. Nature gives people a sense of identity and connection. For example, the rice terraces and farming tradition reflects a community relationships with the land and other cultural heritage. So the next one is climate adaptation. Climate adaptation means using the natural system to help communities survive extreme weather like floods, droughts, and storms. Biodiversity played a big role in protecting people. For example, the mangrove forest acts as the natural shields, pre- uh, reducing damage from waves rather and typhoons. So mangrove forest is we can see it from the like sa pag mo dagat like na siya sa mga kilid-kilid sa dagat, something like that. So the last one is the ecosystem support. Ecosystem support refers to the way healthy ecosystem provide services like clean water, fresh air, fertile soil, and pollination. This system keep the environment stable. For example, bees pollinating flowers allow fruits and vegetables to grow, supporting farming and food supply. So without biodiversity, our health and safety would be at risk. Okay, here we are to our conclusion. So for conclusion, biodiversity is essential for life. It provides food, medicine, protection, and cultural value. But human activities are causing serious harm to ecosystem. We must protect and conserve biodiversity to ensure a healthy and sustainable future for all. I think that's all about my report. Thank you and God bless us all.